Welcome. Today I have the great pleasure of being joined by Brendan Cooper for this series on to blockchain or not to blockchain. Brendan is a veteran of blockchain technology. He is the leader in digital transformation who has executed high-growth digital business strategies for Fortune 1000 companies and startups. From 2010 until recently, Brendan was with Panini as the director of NFT, blockchain, and digital technology. He was instrumental in moving the digital trading card business onto a blockchain infrastructure. Currently, Brendan is dedicating himself to a new startup in the blockchain space.
To start out, first of all, thank you for joining me today, Brendan.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
What I wanted to, get us started with is for you to just say something about Panini, explain to us what Panini does and how and why it went to blockchain.
Okay, sure. So Panini is the largest collectible companies in the world. It has the officially licensed products and trading cards and sticker albums. They have the official licenses for the FIFA World Cup, which is a global phenomena every 4 years, where everyone wants to get the Panini FIFA World Cup stickers and sticker albums. This is a collectible product. And of course, the company in 2009 entered the trading card business and has gone on to become the largest trading card maker in the world, with official licenses with the NBA, the NFL, and many other globally recognized licensors.
And so when did Panini decide to invest in blockchain? And maybe you can say a little bit about your role in that project.
Sure. So I've been was with Panini from until just recently, going back to 2010. And during that time, I was following the evolution of Bitcoin carefully and saw the evolution of colored coins and then other unique items, and then the emergence of the NFT technology with the smart people at Dapper Labs and the CryptoKitties phenomena. And there was a lot leading up to that, but that was a real sign that that there was something very powerful about being able to claim ownership of digital goods. Now, prior to that, we had already built some officially licensed mobile free-to-play games. These were collectible trading card games that had digital trading cards in them, but they weren't connected to a blockchain. They were digital only. And so it was hard to make any representations of ownership around them. And yet people really enjoyed the games. And so these were officially licensed NBA, NFL, and FIFA digital trading card games. And so that was our first clue, maybe going back to 2016, that we had that a digital collectible was something that was real, that people wanted it. And of course, CryptoKitties came along and we started really bearing down and looking at the technology and how we might deploy it.
Right. And so what did you find as, both opportunities and challenges? And maybe let's start, the opportunities you've given us some clue about already, right? In terms of traceable ownership, proof of ownership, over collectible, digital collectibles. But were there any other opportunities that you saw?
Well, so absolutely. So Panini's in the collectible business, and we really saw an opportunity to use blockchain technology across a wide range of business applications, both for authenticating physical collectibles and jerseys and officially signed basketballs and helmets and the sorts of things that the company works with. But these mobile apps I was telling you about, so they have acquired over a few years, upwards of 7 million users. And that's a powerful signal unto itself. Like that was really a wake-up call. And the ability to offer perfect chain of custody, and of course, in context of a larger phenomena with Epic Games and several 100 million users trading skins in Fortnite, I mean, so EA has been doing cards and things in their games that are similar to collecting. And so in the larger context, there have been lots of signposts about what's possible.
Given these opportunities that you saw in the space of digital goods, what were some of the challenges of moving Panini into a blockchain environment?
Well, there were several. One was just choosing a platform. There is at that time a lot of decentralized infrastructure that had emerged, and making the assessment of whether it was mature enough for us to stand up a large scaled business was something that occupied a lot of attention. The other thing was actually the messaging around a mass market, a consumer platform, and having to explain wallet technologies and that the assets are bearer instruments, okay, which is kind of a non-starter. That's not a very good conversation to talk about at the mass market. Hey, if you lose your keys, you lose everything that we have for you, and we can't help you. Wow. So, right. So that at the time, now since that time, this was in 2018. There are now some multi-signature wallets that are out there. The technology's gotten better. There's still some really serious limitations in the smart contract functionality that licensors need to support aftermarket royalty sales, and it still doesn't exist even 5 years after the original ERC 721 smart contract standard emerged. The licensees like Panini and the licensors can't enforce an aftermarket royalty. And again, there's a smart contract to be written, but the company's not in the software business, right? Writing software is not what they do, and so that was a real challenge. So those were the most important challenges that we faced.
And so what would you say were some of the sort of successes that you had, in overcoming them?
Well, so we learned that the Hyperledger Foundation is providing some really strong, usable software. Okay. Really excited about the talent behind that organization and the number of different platforms that they support. Right. We ended up using a Hyperledger Sawtooth implementation, which we thought was a really great choice, and it turned out to be easily implemented. We've got a shared custody wallet, and so we were able to solve some of all of those challenges. Yeah. It's not a decentralized platform, but it's a logical next step for the platform when the technology's mature enough and the market's ready for it. For Panini, we were really pleased with the market reception. We were pleased with the overall performance of the platform, and it's enabled the company to make some important claims at the frontier of this technology. And really offer customers an exciting collectible experience with guaranteed authenticity, perfect chain of custody, and all the things that you would expect the blockchain technology to deliver. There are aftermarket sales, and so the digital collectibles can actually be traded in aftermarket from one user to another. Right. And so overall, it's really exciting for the space, and I think has a really exciting future. The future is digital. I think the global market has already spoken with the hundreds of millions of users globally that are trading and interacting with digital goods and gaming environments. And those are going to continue to evolve towards public blockchain infrastructure.
Right. Okay. What I want to do now is quickly share this, the framework. So one of the key things that I think you're aware of is this, that together with Simon Mack, we're still engaged in this research project. But so one of the key things is we're wanting to understand more about each of these quadrants in our framework. And so first of all, I guess the first question is, where would you position Panini? And I'll just tell you where I think it is, and then also maybe throw a wrench into it a little bit. So my sense is that Panini is over here, because what this is you've got a relatively complex network, of basically organizations that are engaged in producing these playing cards. And what essentially you're providing is this chain of custody over a digital good. So the key difference for me, so it's a complex network which basically moves it to the right. As far as the asset verification is concerned, it seems to me that the playing card, especially in its digital form, is relatively straightforward. It's just a digital good that has to be signed, obviously, and then all the chain of custody issues resolved. But it's not like, and this is where I'll throw in the curveball, it's not like for example, a jersey, which is a physical jersey. And so, having the blockchain sort of provide the digital record alongside this physical item, that's sort of where, my sense is it's about the identity of this physical item and the management of that identity, right, in the blockchain, in the sort of integrating the virtual and the physical space, that's where sort of another set of challenges arises. So I'll just leave it there and wait for your comment.
So I would agree with your assessment that of the quadrant that that Panini belongs in, the Panini NFT collectible. I do think it gets the authentication part actually for an NFT collectible in general does become a really complex issue at the moment you talk about public blockchains. Okay, mm-hmm. So for the moment, Panini has implemented a private blockchain and has control of that blockchain. When you go to the decentralized and public blockchain, the authentication of the user and who is, on the internet, anyone can be a dog. And right. I think on a public blockchain, anyone can be a dog. And yet there are official collectibles. And, the question is, did that artist actually produce it? Did that licensee, did Panini actually produce it? And so, of course, this goes back to DID, the decentralized identity solutions. It goes back to third-party authentication and representations. And there are a lot of technology solutions that are evolving to handle that part of the equation. But anyway, in your assessment, I agree for the private blockchain that we are in the lower right quadrant.
Are you currently using blockchain for more physical items?
Not at this time. Certainly the technology choices and the platform is fully integrated into the overall Panini UX, the user experience. And so there's a e-commerce platform that's and a mobile and web platform that are fully integrated together to create one single unified experience for the user. And so right. That lets us, that provides a lot of opportunities, including connecting the physical goods to the blockchain in the future and using it as an authentication technology for physical products.
Right. Right. Would you say that the ventures you're currently engaged in are sort of scattered across, let's say, at least three of these quadrants, sort of the bottom right, the top left, and the top right? Or are you putting more of your investment in any one of these areas?
what I'm involved in is I would classify as infrastructure, and the public blockchain infrastructure and the foundational platforms that businesses need to rapidly onboard and take advantage of the technologies and the financial primitives that are evolving on them. And so when we think about the insurability of physical goods that are attached to blockchains, when we think about the digital only products and how they're insured, when we think about smart contract risk and the complexity that businesses need to, I liken it to in the early days of e-commerce, the earliest days when HTML and everyone wanted to stand up a shop. They had to go out and they had to hire a bunch of programmers to use HTML and actually engineer stuff from the ground up. And of course, 15 years later, we could take just about anybody off the street, give them a rapid set of tools that would let them drag and drop and use widgets and deploy photos and stand up a beautiful, highly functional and capable website and e-commerce platform. And that's where we are today. And this technology is moving in that direction.
Got it. I guess then my last question. And so, blockchain technology frequently gets a bad rap simply because of, the energy use that it requires. Do we want to destroy the planet, or do we want to invest in, social structures like trust? So what is your response to this kind of debate? Where do you see blockchain going?
These systems are immature. They are not as efficient as they can be and as we can easily imagine them. And all of the important ones are moving in a direction that are going to let them do that and to engineer more efficiency. And even for those who aren't, I don't think there's a fair accounting of what it means and what the price of security is. Because when I look at the evolution of the technology and the types of opportunities it is going to unleash in support of the environment, it's mind-blowing. I mean, because the existing systems and infrastructure that we have under the current financial regime don't support a wholesale reimagining of how we take care of commons and how we actually value and can potentially manage important resources. So, for example, I have a good colleague, Jeremy McCain, who founded the Ocean Network Protocol. And in this imagining, it was so creative. He's tokenizing fisheries, and he's using incentive design to pull the fisheries into a managed arrangement where they can actually be compensated for not going out and hauling fish out of the ocean. Today, their income directly corresponds one-to-one. I work every day. Now, if we can involve them in the project of science and actually collecting offshore drones that are actually collecting information, and they can be retrieving and maintaining and providing services around the maintenance and care of those fisheries, then all of a sudden we have created powerful new allies and stewards across everyone involved in our fisheries. And this is not a project that emerged or could emerge without this technology. And that's just one tiny example. Man, there are people that are using Harburger taxes around collectibles to actually fund conservation efforts connected to specific animals and specific species in the wild, depending on the collectible and the category. I mean, it just the human imagination has been unleashed, and there are a lot of people advocating for us to hit the brakes on this. And from my standpoint, the innovation that I see warrants everything we've got to make sure this technology comes to fruition, because it's going to change everyone's lives, and it's going to really benefit not just the economy and not just our commercial lives. It's absolutely going to impact the environment in really positive ways.
Okay. Well, this is mind-blowing.
It's exciting is what it is. This frontier is amazing.
Very, very cool. Well, I really thank you, Brendan, for spending this time with me and talking about these ideas. I think it's fascinating and really cool to learn about actual applications of blockchain, that it's not just an airy-fairy technology, but that there are some serious applications out there that are working and creating positive change, right? Also ecological change that's positive. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for inviting me. This has been really, really fun.